Hello everyone and welcome back to the Close Contact YouTube channel, and welcome back to another episode of How to Make Peak Time Techno. This is going to be the final episode, episode 5, and we're going to be covering post-production. Let's have a look at FL Studio. Here we have our track, and what we're going to do before we render the track out is just have a quick listen to the mix, make sure the levels and everything are okay, and export it out, ready for a quick master. Maybe drop that snare down a little bit. And the crash up a wee notch. Do you know what? That sounds pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so let's export the track. We need to give it a name first. What we gonna call it? What we gonna call it? Do you know what? I'm gonna have a wee look at my notes on my phone. Any decent music producer has a notepad on their phone to take notes in. Facts. Some of the notes I've got on my phone, by the way, honestly, I've wrote down like an idea for like a song name, and it just says digestives. I honestly don't even know what I was thinking. What the fuck? You know what? I'm gonna just call the song "Making Waves" because that's what we've been doing. We've been making sound waves. So making then you can put your artist name in. And Techno. That'll do it. And now we want to export. And then I also label them pre-master as well, so the tracks aren't getting mixed up. Make sure you've got it 24-bit. I have it at 512 point sync. High quality for all plugins. Disable maximum polyphony. Enable insert effects, enable master effects. Just tick all the boxes, and also leave remainder because you can cut the end off it when you're mastering the track. So let's render this now. And that is the noise of the FL Studio microwave going ding, letting you know that your track's baked. So let's open up another project. This is the project we're going to be mastering the track in. Now what I do for mastering is I get myself a reference track. So this is my reference track. It's called Geiger Counter. It's one of my original pieces of music. And that is what we're going to be using as a reference. Let's drag in our pre-master. And you want to clone this. And this one's actually going to be the one that we're mastering. Have a bit of a gap at the start, like so. So you're not getting any pops or anything like that. And then assign them to mixer channels, like so. And if you right click, it only plays the one track on this green dot here. So the reason I've labelled them like that is because this top one's going to be a reference track for loudness and tones, all that kind of stuff. This one we're not going to do anything to. We're just going to listen back to that just to make sure the master actually sounds better than the exported track. Open up your mixer. Don't forget to name your channels so you don't get confused. And I'm only going to be using FL Studio plugins for this as well. The only two plugins that I'm going to use that aren't FL Studio are free downloads, and they're pretty much essential for the mastering process. Open up a Fruity Parametric EQ2, go to presets, do a 40 Hz and an 18k Hz cut, and all that does is removes the lows, the rogue lows and the really high frequencies, so you're not doing any damage to your hearing. And these kind of low frequencies destroy big sound systems, and they also, because they're so low, they actually pull down the higher frequencies, so you're better off just getting rid of them. And I put 2 in, like so. And the reason I do that is because if I do something in this effects channel, it might add frequencies to it that I don't want, like the highs or lows. So you're better off putting 2 EQs on it just to eliminate that. We're going to load in a Fruity limiter, and I have the limiter set on it there, but we're going to be using the compressor, and we're only going to be using a little bit of compression to control the transients on the track. And I like using the Fruity limiter, well, I like using the FabFilter stuff probably, as you already know, but this is the best compressor in FL Studio, and because it gives you a visual display of what's actually happening. So if I play that, put the ratio to about 2, you can see the ratio up the top corner here when I'm turning this. Just in there a wee bit. That lets it punch through it and start bringing the threshold down. You want it so that it's just biting and it's kind of gluing everything together. So I think we're nearly there. That sounds pretty good like that. The next step is we want to open up in the master channel this plugin here. This is a free download. It's a loudness meter. And what this plugin does is it gives you the loudness in LUFS. So you want to aim for about 10 or 8. I think Spotify loudness is 12 or 10, but I try and go a wee bit louder because different platforms have a different loudness threshold. If you go above 8, then you're really just trying to get this track like booming and as loud as possible, and you're kind of compromising like the actual elements of the song, like you're introducing distortion and stuff like that. So I find between 10 and 8 is a kind of sweet spot. And also, before we play the track, the screen's quite cramped right now, as you can see. So if you have got a 2 screen set up, it makes a massive difference. So let's play the track. So as you can see, it's too quiet by about 10 LUFs or LUFSs. So the volume does need to go up. So that's the loudness meter. Quite straightforward, quite simple. And this here's span, and what this does is it tells you the frequencies across the spectrum that it's hitting. So as you can see when I'm playing the track, this will be your low end here, your mids, and then your highs up here. And you want to try and get this as flat as possible. And this is where another plugin comes into play. You get into your master channel, and now we introduce Maximus. And this is a volume maximizer. You've got your 3 bands here, your low, mids and your highs, and your master. You can add stereo widening, threshold saturation, but the only thing that I really do on this is turn the post volume, because I've done everything that I wanted to do when I was mixing the track. So the only thing that the track was really needing was a bit of compression, and now it needs the volumes to be as flat as possible, and it needs to be louder. I know it's very quick mastering. As I says, I don't claim to be an expert in it. Like, there's guys that go to university and study it for years, and they get paid thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds to do mastering. So I know it roughly to send demos away, and then if I get the option for a record label, if I get a track signed for them to do a master, I'll let them do the master, because I know 9 times out of 10 when I get the master back it'll sound a lot better than mine's. So keeping an eye on span, keeping an eye on the loudness meter, and adjusting the post volumes on the 3 bands and the master. As I said, this volume here, we want to be aiming for it in between -8 or -10, and we want these to be as flat as possible. Different elements of the song, you're going to have bits that are louder, like the drop, maybe the bass, there'll be more bass and there'll be less mids, and when the hats and all that start coming in, you'll start getting your high end. And then for your melody, you might have more mids and a touch of bass, but not a lot. So let's have a look at the track playing from the start, and we'll try adjust it accordingly. Okay, so let's listen to our pre-master. And I think that sounds a lot better. So now let's listen to a reference track and the master.
That nasty radiation with a bit of my own home. Out on someone so heavily dosed.
Do you know what, man? That sounds pretty good to me. So the only thing now left to do is the volume of the master track, create automation clip, and you just want to sort out start of the track here. If you go copy, paste, that keeps that the same level throughout. Okay. Colour it as well if you want to, keep your track nice and organised. Come to the end of the track. See that big, it's left the remainder of that track, so it's got a big massive tail on it. That's what you want, because you can now do this. Put a slope on it like that. So now, you should hear the volume gradually going down. Like so. So the only thing left to do now is render the track out. Save your projects. Remember to always save your projects regularly in case the software crashes and then you're left like that. Oh, I've just been working on that for 8 hours and it's just crashed and I want to die. It's happened to me a few times, by the way. Make sure your pre's turned off. You've just got your master one on, your master volume, and start. When we exported it the first time, it was only half baked. Now we have a fully baked track. Let's drag the master in to get a good look at it. And that looks absolutely beautiful, man. That looks absolutely beautiful. That is exactly what you're wanting, right there. Controlled transients and a consistent volume throughout. Quieter coming up to a breakdown, quieter for the breakdown, and then nice and loud again for the drop. And then you can see where we've added in the automation at the end to get rid of the volume. Beautiful, man, beautiful. I'd say that's done, guys. I would say that is done. That top reference track was actually mastered by Master and Engineer, and I think quality-wise they sound really similar. So I'm really happy with that master. So that's ready to get released. I'm going to put the track on the Close Contact SoundCloud for a free download, and everyone that's watched this video will now know that. So if you like the track, go and grab it. It's for free. You can have it. It's definitely not my best work. I just made a quick track, threw it together, just to show you the gist of making peak time techno. So, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. That is episode 5 finished, and that brings us to the conclusion of our How to Make Peak Time Techno mini-series. So, thank you very much. Hope to see you all soon. And don't forget to subscribe to the Close Contact YouTube channel. See you all later.